Today, psoriasis. I want to make this boundary so clear. I am not a doctor. I am not telling you what to do. I am not prescribing. I am not diagnosing. I am sharing with you some things that I've seen work over the last 20 something years, 20 plus years. And these lives are to promote women asking powerful questions of their team of people on their board of directors that deal with their health. That might be Western medicine, that might be holistic, that might mean functional, that might mean chiropractor, whatever that means to you. That after listening to this live, those who have psoriasis, my goal is that we talk about something that will add to your knowledge base, that you can run it by your board of directors to make better decisions. And oh, you know what? I forgot. Let me do this. I just forgot. I realized I like this little pink banner when it runs across the bottom, and I forgot to add it. Oh, Teresa, hello, hello. So good to see you here. Hello. Okay, so that boundary needs to stay really clear, because when you have psoriasis, you can see something work for somebody else, and so you do it, and it doesn't work for you. Psoriasis has so many different things that can be causing the issue of psoriasis. There's so many layers. So number one, to psoriasis people, I think they get they're in a group that they get the most overwhelmed because they've tried so many things that they've seen work with other people, and it doesn't work for them. And is what happens is that increases the cycle of getting discouraged, giving up, stopping, and then 3 months later restarting again. And when we do that, whether you have psoriasis or not, when we do that stop start cycle, it actually builds our subconscious to keep us sick, because your subconscious, when you start, your subconscious is like, yeah, remember last time you gave up, it didn't work. And that's what's going to happen this time, because that's a safe pathway. And your subconscious is only to keep you safe. That's all it does. It's its one objective. I have one objective when soaking in magnesium, and that is cell saturation 6.3 or above and maintaining that. That's it. That's my only agenda. I give my body enough magnesium around each blood cell. I don't need to worry about all the different kinds and what this does for this and that does for that, because when you achieve cell saturation, your body has enough magnesium to do what it needs. And so when you are dealing with psoriasis, the pattern of giving up can show up strongly because of all of the different layers. And, my goal is to keep these at 30 minutes, and we can't hit all of them in 30 minutes, but I do want to hit some of the important ones. So, first off, we need to recognize that psoriasis is an autoimmune issue. Okay. So it's not just it's not just your skin or just on your scalp. It's an autoimmune issue. And when you have autoimmune, we know, and I'm an autoimmune girl, we know that there's a couple things that you're deficit in. And so building that strong foundation is very important. Now, it's important, I think, for everyone to build a strong foundation so we're not out there chasing symptoms, because chasing symptoms leaves you susceptible to stopping and starting, and then them selling you something, and then You can't even if you have a cupboard full of supplements and you can't remember why you bought them or you're not using them anymore, you have a problem with the stop start cycle. And it means your subconscious has just gotten trained to keep you in that loop. And so healing psoriasis becomes breaking that loop and stepping into a better pattern. And with anything, it's not just psoriasis on that one. Psoriasis people do struggle with it more than most because there are so many pathways that lead to psoriasis. And you see, we have a compare and contrast. And compare and contrast can be a very positive pattern, can also be a very negative pattern. So for example, most women will relate to this. Have you ever been somewhere and you met a new one, and it's typically a woman who does this, and you meet her, you're introduced, and her arms are folded, and she kind of leans back and she scanned you up and down. And in that moment, you have just been assessed. And instinctively, with no words being communicated, whether you passed and she leans in or whether she didn't deem you worth her time, acceptable, and she walks away. Almost every woman I've ever met has had that experience, that compare and contrast. Compare and contrast can be negative like that, or it can be very positive. You're comparing, so for example, today I had a joyful moment and bought this beautiful purse. I think it's so lovely. And I was sitting there comparing and contrasting. Will this work with solids? Will it work better with prints? Will it work with my blazers? A small print, a big print, like what does it need? Compare and contrast was a beautiful thing while I was focusing on my new thrift find. But if you're comparing and contrasting yourself to everyone else who has psoriasis and what worked for them, that's walking you away from health. And so recognizing that pattern can shorten the pathway to your healing your psoriasis. Okay, so psoriasis is a disease of different causes. Remember that. Just remember that. And our goal is we leave no stone unturned. And everyone picks up stones, works it, puts it down. It's how you react to how that stone worked. So, for example, one stone being get sunshine works for some people, doesn't work for other people. How you react to that determines how long your pathway will be. So let's say it didn't work for you, that specific stone that worked for somebody else's psoriasis, you turn it over, you try it, it doesn't work. How you react to that determines so much. Do you get frustrated, give up, walk away from being healthy, say, I've tried everything, I'll never be able to heal this, I've been trying for 20 years? If those are the things that you're saying, now, those are all valid feelings, absolutely valid. Process them. Process them through so you can up-level your experience and say things like, "Oh, that one didn't work for me. I am moving on to the next one quickly because I want to get to my destination with ease. And if I stay stuck in the fact that that one thing didn't work, it's going to make getting to my destination longer. I want to my destination short. I want that pathway short. I didn't want it long when I was putting the pieces back, after wheelchairs and seizures and tubes and all the stuff. I wanted it short. I wanted my life back. I lost for 3.5 years. So I didn't want a long pathway. And I realized I was making my pathway longer by trying one thing and then, it didn't work, giving up, waiting. And then I saw my clients doing the same thing. And I thought, this isn't just me. This is a universal pattern that we play. So recognizing that role right there for psoriasis people, because there are so many causes, which means there are more stones to turn over to determine. Now, once you turn a stone over and it doesn't work, here's what I do now. Oh, I don't have to do that again because I know that doesn't work for me. Or I'm open to doing that again if I learn more about it. But currently, how I did it, that's not working for me at all. So I don't have to put more energy there. You have 100 energy points a day. How many energy points are you putting toward things that didn't work? Because that can be making you tired too. So there's one concept there. Oh, thank you. I love it. It helps me hold on to my magnesium. So then we need to recognize if you have autoimmune, you have a vitamin D issue. You don't get autoimmune without having a vitamin D issue. It doesn't happen. And so course correcting that foundational level of active vitamin D, stored vitamin D, and magnesium levels. And that combination right there is one that I have spent years of watching people, of taking notes. What works? What doesn't work? How did they get there faster? Why did it take her so long? What can we do to make that shorter? And I promise you, I have never had someone do it and tell me that it didn't work. It doesn't work in a day. It doesn't work in 2 weeks because autoimmune doesn't turn on like that. It's a slow, gradual build. And then all of a sudden, the teeter totter drops and you have an autoimmune issue. And remember, once you open the door to one autoimmune, your door stays open for other autoimmune issues to happen unless you're course correcting your vitamin D. We have stored vitamin D, we have active vitamin D. We need magnesium to convert the stored vitamin D to the active vitamin D. So the first thing that went off with low vitamin D status was your magnesium. We've got to get that magnesium up. We need to know where our stored is and where our active is. We always want our active to be higher than our stored with a magnesium red blood cell number of 6.3 or above. That needs to be put into place. For some people, that's a 4-week process. For some people, that's a 12-month process. It's worth it. I promise. It's worth it. So we know that that's off. Another thing, I've got notes here I'm looking down on. Another thing that I see working for a lot of people. So for example, if you just heard that and you're like, a year for the one step and there's more steps, that can be overwhelming. So I also wanted to talk about something that I see making a difference in people with psoriasis that is beneficial across the board, and that is hesperidin. What is hesperidin? It's from the peel of oranges, of citrus, and you need it in higher doses. Now, remember, I'm not a doctor. I'm not diagnosing. I'm not, I'm not doing, I'm just sharing for you to ask questions as you make decisions for your journey. So when you're at the point that you've got psoriasis, you need to slow down your keratinocytes. And to do that, because that's making it worse, the proliferation of those. And so to do that, that's driving. Think of that like as the gasoline that drives the psoriasis. To do that, hesperidin is going to shut that down. But it doesn't shut it down with just a small dose. I see it working best at 4 grams. But here's the big but. You need to you need to build up to that slowly. It acts as a prebiotic in your body, and so it can give you some stomach upset, some gas, some bloating because it's killing off candida. And so it it will be your own personal time frame. I can't say, "Oh, build it up this fast," because I don't know how your gut's going to react. I do know, I have a favorite type, that you can get on Amazon, and it is, oh gosh, let me see if I can pull it up. Oh shoot, did I dropped that. Um, it's it's the Now brand of hesperidin, and you want 4 grams a day to work up to that. 2 grams in the morning and 2 grams in the evening. And no, you might need to work up to it slowly, because to get psoriasis, you have to have a gut issue. And so we know that there's imbalance in your gut. Anyone that has uh, autoimmune has a gut issue. Like you have to have the gut issue first before the autoimmune kicks in. And so build up slowly, but it will stop that gasoline that drives feeding the psoriasis. And for some people, that takes it away. Takes it away. Now, personally, I want to close the door. I wanted to close the door on more autoimmune issues, because I got one, and then I got a second one, and then I got a third one. And I've closed the door, and I'm celiac. I avoid gluten because of how my body reacts to it. But the other two, I walked away from. They're not even a part of my experience now. And so I think having an autoimmune is a real wake up call that we need some things to change in our lives to heal and seal and protect our gut. And the strongest way to heal and seal your gut is strong vitamin D. I cannot tell you how many people have said, "Oh, I take 50,000 and it hasn't moved my vitamin D at all." Now, it's not that I'm against someone taking, so please don't think that. A pill does not replace the sun. It's not as good. You have to adjust your life in a way that you can get more sunshine in. Now, I know someone who works a job that is in office from like 4, like she goes to work at what I call dark o'clock, before the sun comes up. She cannot leave the building for security reasons. She is in that building all day, and she couldn't change her job. She said, I cannot change my job. I'm the main provider. I cannot change my job." So you know what she did? She got a, a Spurty light, which helps her body activate vitamin D. And then on Saturday and Sunday, she made sure that because she worked 5 days a week, so for her, it worked on the weekend. Healthy women get creative to take care of themselves. And she created what worked for her, the Spurty light, and then as much sun as her skin could take on the weekends. Now, a lot of people will say, "Well, how much sun do I get?" I don't know. It depends on the quality of fats in your body. So when I first started, I would burn because I had horrific omega-3 6-9 balance. I had the most 9 and then 6 and then 3, and it used to be the other way around. And that's another huge beneficial thing. It's called UDIs, UDI. And I pulled up the one that I like. I wish I could show it to you. I pulled up the one that I like. It's the UDI's Choice, because the 369 blend, they've now got like 6 versions of it. And I don't see them doing as much for psoriasis as the original. And so it'll say Udi's oil 369 blend, and then on the top and right underneath the founder's picture is Udi's choice. And the other ones will say different things. Don't get it off Amazon. Did you hear me? Please don't get it off Amazon. The reason is the nutrients in this oil, it's a nutty tasting oil. The nutrients decrease by the heat. And a lot of Amazon's warehouses are complete robots, and they don't have to monitor the heat for a person because there's no person in the warehouse. And so this is where you really jump in and you support your local health food store. And we're so grateful to those local health food stores because their oil comes in a refrigerated truck because they're also getting produce. And most of them will put it in the refrigerator because they recognize the nutrients. And so, yes, you will pay a little bit more. I personally think it's a true waste of money to pay less for it, but have it not have the full benefit. Now, you might disagree with that, and that's okay. Please spell that name for vitamin D. Spell the name for vitamin D. So the Udi's 369 does not give you vitamin D. It's going to help you balance your 369, and it's going to give you evening primrose. And that evening primrose helps slow psoriasis. Now, what I use, Marianne, for my vitamin D quote supplementation that is a whole food source, I use, what's it called? It's cod liver oil, has whole food vitamin D, whole food vitamin A, droppy. I've got the Udi's in front of me and I went blank on which one it was. I buy droppy cod liver oil. And again, if you can get that one locally, you're better off than buying it at that one place that I know I use sometimes. I wish I didn't, but sometimes I do. So that's when you support those local. And getting whole food vitamin D is always going to be better than getting it in synthetic form in a capsule. But you have a choice to make, and everyone has this choice to make. Oh, the light. Absolutely, I can. Spurty. I sometimes don't pronounce my T's. Spurty. Sperti. Please read the directions and do not overuse that lamp. It is not the sun, it's plan B, and it can cause issues with your skin if you overuse it. Okay, so just saying, it's an amazing lamp. And if you have problems with vitamin D, I think it's one of those tools that you save up for and buy. It's an incredible company. It's an incredible lamp when used appropriately. And remember, your ability to stay in the sun is determined by the quality of fats that you eat. If you eat canola and if you eat fast food a lot and if you eat out a lot, you don't have high quality fats in your body. And so they fry. And then as they're pushed out through your body, they cause issues. And so the higher quality of fat that you eat determines how long you can stay in the sun and how much you can use that spurty. I'll pronounce that T. I need to get just a little bit of water. I'll drink it over here so you don't hear the sound. Okay, where are we at time-wise? We've got 5 minutes. Oh, you're so welcome, Marianne. Oh, CBD oil absolutely can help and is one of the layers. For some, it will do nothing. And for others, it will help. And that's what you have to remember about psoriasis. My mom loves to do puzzles. I'm not really a puzzle person. They drive me nuts. My mom and my grandkids love puzzles. I will sit there and do puzzles with my grandkids because I love hanging out with them. Have you ever grabbed like 1,000-piece puzzle and gone, oh, that's a lot of pieces? There's a lot of pieces to psoriasis that you might have to try to figure out. Now, I personally take the approach to build a strong foundation. So the first things I would start with would be getting my magnesium red blood cell numbers up, getting my droppy cod liver oil in, and I would also add the Udo's 369 because that's going to give my body and my cells healthy fats, evening primrose, and then I'd add hesperidin before I tried other things. I see a few that really working, and the majority, it doesn't at all. So that's just what I would do from what I've watched over the last 23 years. Those are the steps I would take first. And remember, with Udi's and with Droppy tastes like fish. Like I have to use salt and lemon on the spoon to get it down. You could take the capsule. It's easier, right? It's not as beneficial. When you're taking those fats by spoon or drizzled over your salad, you will get more benefit. So if you're taking the Droppy in a capsule form, you need to drop your expectations. And we've talked about before, if you've been with me on my lives, when we create gaps, it's harder to create health. And if you have the expectation that you're going to get this mass benefit from Droppy in pill form, you've created a gap because it'll take anywhere 10 to 12 weeks before you see a small difference versus most people will see a difference in the first 7 days taking it on, in the absolute liquid form. And that's for both Udi's and the 369 and the Droppy cod liver. Now, Udi's for me is not hard to take at all. It's nutty. It just has a nutty flavor. Droppy, I have to put the Droppy on. I put a little bit of salt. I put a little bit of fresh lemon. I plug my nose. I take it and do a little shudder and then continue on. There are sometimes I take the pill. It's not as effective as the actual liquid. So but if you're not taking the liquid because it's so hard to get down, that doesn't help. And it's a waste of money in your fridge. And so you might say, oh, I have a strong filter because healthy women have strong filters. And I'm making a decision that will work best for me. And I'm choosing to take the pill because I can't get it down in liquid form. It's just too hard. And if you don't have a gallbladder, you're going to have to adjust how you take that fat because you will need to take it with other foods or else it could trigger a gallbladder flare. Or if you have a poorly functioning gallbladder, the fat might trigger a flare. And so taking it with other carbs seems to help the best. And if you're bloating after you eat, we've got to work on that because you're not going to uptake your magnesium very well with low hydrochloric acid, and you're not going to uptake the benefits from those oils very well because you have low hydrochloric acid. Okay, I saw this question. How do you know if you have enough magnesium without doing the blood work? You don't. Sorry. You can gauge your symptoms like, okay, I'm sleeping better, my leg cramps are gone, I feel more relaxed in my shoulders, kind of thing. But to truly get the full Monty of understanding how your body is utilizing it, the test. And I know it's another $50. It is going to save you on how much magnesium you have to buy. And yes, I'm the founder of the company. And I had a lady say, well, you should want people to use magnesium. No, the ultimate goal of living the good life naturally is to get you out there feeling good, changing the world. My grandbabies might end up in your corner of the world, and I want their experience to be optimal. That is the ultimate goal. Now, magnesium is a pathway to get you there, but if you're soaking every single day and have been for 2 years, we're missing something. And if you're bloating after you eat, we've that bloat means that you're not going to uptake the magnesium very well, and it will take you much longer. So truly getting that test done after a 30-day challenge is incredibly important so that you know how your body is utilizing magnesium. Is it a perfect test? No, because 60% of your magnesium is in your bones and 40% is around your red blood cell. And we're testing the 40% around your red blood cell. It's not perfect, but currently it's the best test that there is to gauge what is happening for you. So, there are some thoughts on magnesium. I have loved being with you today. I will be pulling, well, not I will be, let me rephrase that. Team is amazing and so helpful, and they make a doc for me. Your questions that you post here, your questions that you ask, emails that come in, that goes on the live, and we focus on that for 30 minutes on one of my social media channels. So I do Insta at 3 p.m. Pacific time. I do Facebook at 4 p.m. Pacific time. And then I go on TikTok and I throw a live up on TikTok, and then after that, I record a couple to post the next day. And we literally are just picking a topic from questions that come in. So if you have a question, and not that I have the answer to every question, and I'm saying it again, I'm not a doctor, I'm not diagnosing. Healthy women ask powerful questions. So you and I are just helping each other to ask powerful questions. My powerful question of the day is, what should I wear this with? Like all of my purses, I realized are solid colors. I've never um, coordinated. And so my powerful question is, I need to know what you think I should wear this with. But healthy women do ask powerful questions. And that's what these are about, for you to go back to your board of directors. Oh, should we do one of these on just board of directors and the different areas that you can have on your board and how to choose who's on your board of directors in that area? Does that interest you? I would love, love, love to know. Oh, you're so welcome. You are so very welcome. Oh, Teresa. So bloat is we could that will be one that team will go through, and they will pull the questions, and that is a whole topic in of itself. Like it is a whole 30 minutes that we can spend on that, and I would love to, because people don't realize if they're bloating, their magnesium levels are not moving at the level that they should. And I want to set you up with optimal absorption, that you're getting optimal benefits. And so I I would love to have them add that to the list, and I know they will. They're so on top of it. I People I hire, I bring on people opposite from me, because if if Shelley was scattered with my scattered, that wouldn't be good. She's so systematic and so routines. And so they help me fill in the spots. It's like a marriage. I fill in the spots my husband needs, and he fills in the spots I need. And together, we're good on our own, but together, we are so much better. And that's what I look for in team, is people that can help fill in the spots so that I can show up more powerfully here for you. And so I'm just shouting out gratitude to team, because like I pulled up a doc that had this is your topic for Insta, this is your topic for Facebook. This, it's just so organized. And so I can just look at the top 3 subjects. Shelley had them ready for me, and that made it easy for me to get on. So please know, I don't do this by myself. I have incredible, incredible support from Team Good Life. Just incredible support. Yeah. Oh, I will tell them that, because I always wonder, they're behind the scenes. People don't see what they do. People don't see the hand filling of every jug that my daughter has done for 23 years. She's done that for 23 years. Now, we're super excited. We're getting an automated machine. We are flying her out to San Diego. She will learn how to run the automation, and she's not going to have to fill magnesium bottles by hand anymore ever again. And that's a good thing, because it's just, at this point, it's impossible to keep up by hand filling. So we're so excited. So I always worry, not worry, I think about it though. Gosh, do they realize how important it is how they tighten that lid? Because if they don't tighten that lid and the magnesium leaks, then I have to pay for another one, ship another one, and that costs money, and that ends up increasing the cost of magnesium. And we've had so many price increases, but we haven't had to increase the price of magnesium because Team got more efficient, and I didn't have to increase my payroll hours, and we had less returns because they had better systems. And so they're behind the scenes. Their role is so incredibly important. And I always just, I want people to understand, like, the role that they have played in getting you your magnesium. And so I will pass along that gratitude to them. I will absolutely pass that along. Oh, Marianne, yes. If you will go to livingthegoodlifenaturally.com, there's a tab on that front page that says Learn. Go to the Learn, and then it will have a drop-down menu. And on that drop-down menu, it will say magnesium red blood cell test. Because the lab that I go to, that I like the best over the lifetime of the company, in my opinion, they're the best lab, the most accurate. I link right to the test, because there's a couple different ones that you can get, and it gets a little confusing. So if you do that, you're getting that test that time has proven is the best test to get. And then while you're there, Shelley added a Mother's Day sale. And so you can check out the Mother's Day sale. We have some things on sale for half price, but when the product is gone, it's done. It's gone. Half price. Super excited about that. So you can go check that out. I will pass that along to Team. You are so very welcome. It was delightful being here with you today. Remember, action creates health. Not learning, but taking the learning and putting it into action. So my challenge to you, go take a tiny action step on something that you learned. Bye-bye.